So good afternoon friends. Today again we have just gathered here just to complete about the basics of material science and metallurgy. This is my third lecture. So in the last previous two lectures we have seen about the ages of the material, what is the meaning of material, and according to the ages how the development of the in the material was carried out. So today we will see the impact of material on the progress, and basically we will today focusing on the real applications where the material has been used and how the development of the material was carried out in such kind of that applications. So last time we have just covered about certain applications which is related to the electronics part. So today we are just focusing the progress of the material in the automobiles, in the aeroplane, and in the waterways. So how the material progress was there in such kind of that applications. So this is very important aspects. Just you just try to understand what is the importance of the material in the real applications. So first of all, how the revolution in the transportation were carried out, we will focus on this aspect. The road transport in the 18th century and the major part of the 19th century was mainly horse carriage. So the meaning of this is that, friends, that is initially at the end of the 18th century or 19th century, might be in the some movies you have seen that when the movies related when that British was there in our India. So at that time, the majority of that whatever may be the British soldiers or whatever may be the British officers, they are just using the horses just for the transportation purpose. And afterwards, in 1890, we had the copper, bronze, iron, steel, aluminum, and rubber in addition to the wood. So this kind of that variety of the material were there, and this is uh, the very paradigmic aspect of the invention was carried out just for the road transport from the horse carriage to the motorized vehicles. So just to form some sort of that motorized vehicle, the different kind of that materials are required, and the invention were focused or the invention were carried out in 1819, and the transportation mode is just converted from the horse carriage towards the motorized vehicles. Now Karl Benz in the Germany came up with the viable motor vehicle called as Velo in 1894. So this is the first invention were carried out related to the motor vehicles. So in 1894 that Karl Benz he have just invented about the Velo vehicle. Velo in the sense it is just like a bicycle type kind of that vehicle, but it is operated with the motor. So that's why it is called a motor Velo vehicle initially. So Ford Motors made the first assembly line for the mass production of the commercial vehicles. As we are all knowing, the Ford is the very renowned company related to the motors are concerned. So this is the company which is manufacturing a lot many variety of the cars or variety of the transport vehicles also. So this is the very well established company, and they have just first made the assembly line for the mass productions of the commercial vehicles. So the Force T model was the first successfully and affordable commercial vehicle. So which is this is the first model which was the invented, or not we can say the invention, but which was the manufactured, and it was just went for the mass production, and the peoples can be able to purchase such kind of that vehicle in the affordable price. So the Ford was the company who was the leading company in the manufacturing of the automobiles. So the material had a very important role to play in this transformation from Velo to T to the modern cars. So as we are knowing that initially the bicycles kind of that motorized or operated vehicle, it is called as a Velo vehicle. Then right now we are using the modern cars like Ferrari or such kind of that Bugatti likewise. and all those kind of the transformation what just happened because of that material. So material is the very much important aspect or vital aspect as far as that transformation were carried out. So in the automobile material, again we are knowing according to the variety of the ages, and invention of the new material or some sort of the technology, the whatever the development was carried out, the application of these materials had lead to the modern day cars. Now this is just a scenario which kind of that material has been used just to manufacture a cars. So this is the almost in it is just a common statistics. It is not applicable for all the vehicles, but near about such kind of that statistics are there for all such kind of that cars. So almost 68% ferrous material was or we are right now using in cars. It is just a general statistic. Again, I am mentioning it is not perfectly for all the cars or it is applicable perfectly for all the cars, but generally almost near about the 68% ferrous metals has been used to manufacture any car. Then non-ferrous metals 8%, so which is shown over here. Then battery 1%, rubber 2%. So just we can be able to know that some sort of that any mudguards or likewise those kind of that materials has been manufactured with the rubber. Then plastic 9%, polymer 1%, fluid, that is whatever may be the engine oil and all such kind of that things are there, or windshield wiper cleaner. So those kind of that fluids it is almost 2%. Then electric parts 1%, carpet 1%, tires, that is for the car we are knowing that the tires are there and it is carrying almost 3% component. Then glass, that is windshield and front back side or whatever may be the windows of the car, that is 3%, and remaining almost 1%. So this kind of that manufacturing assembly it is there for any kind of that automobile vehicles, that is in nowadays in the modern cars. So very important component in the vehicle, as we are all knowing that it is the just engine. So whatever if you are purchasing the car of rupees 5 lakhs, might be you are knowing it or not, I don't know, but almost that engine carries the 2 lakh rupees price in that particular vehicle. So the engine is the very important part. Again, we all are knowing nowadays the engine might be replaced in the few years with the heavy batteries, but then too for the diesel cars, it is right now the engine is the very important part just to carry a very high duty kind of that luggage. So from cast iron blocks to more compact and lighter powerful engine blocks, the material development has made it is possible. So initially the cast iron kind of that blocks were used in the manufacturing of the engine, but nowadays, as we are all knowing, the engine carries the very high weight in the car, and which is affecting on some sort of that fuel economy. That is what we are in the general language we are just considering it is as an average. We are considering how much average of your bike, how much average of your car, that we are talking like this, that is called as a fuel economy. So if the engine is the heavier, it is affecting on the fuel economy. So the basic focus of the research is just to compact and lightweight engine manufacturing. So which is again occupying the very less space in the car and which gives the more good fuel economy as compared to the other cars. So just to make it is the lightweight engine. The material again it is the very important aspect in that. So engine components are traditionally made from the ferrous alloy. The emphasis on the weight reduction for higher fuel efficiency, already I have just talked about this, has increased the uses of aluminium and cylinder blocks. So basically that cast iron has been replaced with the aluminium blocks, and whatever may be the cylinder blocks, cylinder heads and the piston components, that has been made up with the aluminium. Nowadays a lot many companies are working or they are just carrying out the research on the use of magnesium as well as titanium just to make the high speed engines along with the lightweight of that particular engine. They want to just develop the turbojet kind of that engine, that is which is having the very high speed. So for that purpose, the magnesium and titanium kind of that material will plays a very important role. So many more researchers nowadays, they are, if you just go with some sort of that research paper, you might be observe these things. So that magnesium, titanium, these kind of that material has been used in the engine, and they are just working how can that affecting, it is affecting on overall the efficiency of the engine, the fuel economy and all, and how much percentage of that weight has been reduced in those applications. The material like synthetic rubber, variety of polymers, foams have provided a new dimensions and aesthetic looks to the automobile interior. Nowadays, if you'll observe the any cars that is like a Ferrari or any sports cars, basically they are whatever may be their interior or some sort of that exterior part, they are made up with the some sort of that polymers or some sort of that composite material. So in the next slide again, when we are talking about the aeroplane, we will mostly focus on what is the meaning of that composite and how it has been used over there. So the invention of the aeroplane. First of all, we will talk about the Wright brothers. Yes, definitely without the Wright brothers, it is very difficult to just convert the mode of the transportation from road to the air. So the basically we are all knowing that is in the road transportation, which is which carries a very uh, large time just for the transportation, and which are having a lot of limitations. But the air mode, that is the aeroplanes, which makes it is very easier, it is very faster. And in 1902 they have made the first aircraft, that is the Wright brothers. Then the material plays again the very important role, because the most challenging task is that we are knowing that in the aeroplanes the turbines are there, the engine it is there, but just we it is the challenge is that it has to be a very lighter weight, because when it is dragged from the our land, it has to be sustained in the air. And if it is having the very higher weight, then it is not possible just to sustain in such kind of a pressure of the air. And that's why the material, it is the very important aspect in the manufacturing of the aeroplane. So nowadays, the use of the advanced material, it is making the stronger, lighter, and better aerodynamic design and greater speed in the aeroplanes. So I will just give you the one example, that is we are knowing that Boeing, it is the company who is manufacturing the aeroplanes, and it is the leading company in the aeroplane manufacturing. So it is the just example of the two models. Likewise, the again like a car, in the way that aeroplane also it is having some sort of that models. So Boeing 777, it is one model which is having the 75% aluminum, and the advanced version of the Boeing plane, it is 787, that is Boeing 787, which is made up with the fiber reinforced composites. So it is just a comparison, the total material used by the weight in these two aeroplanes. So it is the just example of Boeing 777. So in the Boeing 777, the aluminum, it has been used up to the 75%, composite 10%, steel 9%, titanium 5%, and the remaining material is 1%. It is just it is again the statistical data which is available on the website of the Boeing company, and that has having the reference with this particular website it has been made. Then they have just given the data for Boeing 787. Now the Boeing 787, it has been manufactured with the composite 50%, aluminum 20%, titanium 15%, steel 10%, and remaining 5%. Now, now you might be thinking, what is the difference in these two? So, in competitive, when we are going to compare these two models, the Boeing 787, it is having the very uh, good performance as compared to the Boeing 777 in all aspects, in the economy, fuel economy, in the weight, whatever maybe the speed is concerned. So in the all aspect, the Boeing 787 is far ahead than the Boeing 777. So why it is happens? Because they have just replaced the aluminum with the composite, major of the parts. So that composite, the fantasy of the composite, I will explain you. The composites are made up with the two different kind of that material. One, we have to use some fibers like a carbon fiber, and those fibers are bound together with some sort of that resins, and which is giving the strength like a steel. I'm not saying as an like a aluminum, which is giving the strain like a steel, but which is the lighter more than the aluminum. So if we'll compare the weight, the composite, if you'll compare any component of aluminum which is carrying the 1 kg weight, so same sort of that component, same kind of the strength of that particular component we can be able to manufacture with the composite, which is having almost the 300-gram weight, but the strength in compare with the aluminum, it is twice. So you can be able to just make some sort of that imagination how that composite plays a very important role in such kind of that aspects. So the impact of the material, as the what are the basically impact? So in the aircraft design, to improve the load on the engine, and means when the load on the engine has been improved, the operating temperature is also increased. Yes, so basically we are knowing that when we are just shut down our car, and if you go to the front side of that particular car, and if you open the bonnet, you can be able to imagine how much it is that hot, and the large amount of heat has been transferred. Okay, so the engine which is having, when you are loading the engine more, the more temperature will be there. So that which is very challenging task in as far as that aeroplanes are concerned. So the need of the material that can be sustained such a harsh condition. So it is when we want to reduce the weight, same kind of that material we want. Okay, means same kind of the material in the sense which carries that kind of that temperature, operating temperature. It should be sustained in that kind of the temperature, and along with the sustainability, it should be reduce the weight of that particular engine. So the high temperature material like is Ni based super alloys has been made, it is possible. So Ni based alloys. So just see, this is the figure, or we can say the graph, which is showing that in 19th earliest century, the steam engine was there, and almost if you can be able to see the temperature, engine temperature, which is near about 50 degree. So air cooled engines that has been developed, which may be sustained up to the 200 degrees Celsius temperature. But nowadays, after 1980, the modern turbojet engine, which is made up with the such kind of that alloys, that is Ni alloy, which can be able to sustain almost near up to the 1400 degree Celsius in the temperature. So this is again the example of waterways transportation. So basically, I'm just taking the example of the Titanic over here. In the movie, we have seen that in the Titanic, the major failures were occurred due to the means that analysis. Later on, that analysis were carried out. A huge kind of that impact where there a lot many life was lost due in that particular accident that was happened unfortunately in the 15th April 1912, and it was happened because of that colliding with the iceberg. That particular uh, ship was just having the collisions with the icebergs, and later on some sort of that analysis were carried out, and in that analysis the major impact of that particular failure is given. It was just happened because of that particular hull steel, and that whatever maybe that rivets was manufactured, that is with the steel plates, and that because of that particular rivets, means that particular rivet, it is making made up with the wrought iron, and because of that they are having the brittle in the nature, and once that collision where happens, that rivets was totally failed. And so this is just figure of that particular ship. So here you can be able to see these are the rivets manufactured with the wrought iron, and once it is just carried out that collision with the iceberg, because it is the iceberg, it is as good as like a stone. Okay, so that impact were there, and unfortunately in that particular accident we cannot be able to save a majority of the lives. And again, this is just happened because of that failure of that particular material. So the selection of that material according to the nature, it is the very important aspect in every application. So for the today's lecture, I think it is enough all that applications which are the very important as far as the materials are concerned. I have covered a lot of part in that. Again, from the next lecture, we will just talk about our syllabus, then COPOs of the subject, and then we will start with the actual syllabus. Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed this particular lecture. Thank you once again for patience listening.